What's going on? I'm Justin, and this is the third episode of Game Rants. And today I'm joined by my friend Jake. He's graciously given his time to be here on the podcast. Say hi.
Hey guys, time and talent. Do not forget.
Oh, yes, I forgot about talent. How could I forget about talent? So, Jake and I are both very passionate about the NFL. So that's what we're going to be talking about in our off-topic discussion because it's football season. Both our teams are kind of in the playoffs, kind of.
You guys are probably more in the picture than we are, obviously. I mean, I think you guys have kind of turned it into a salvageable season to actually work into a competitive point.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, obviously, for the audience out there, I'm a Packers fan.
I'm a Dolphins fan. I've probably said that before on the channel, but just to make sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, I'm just at the point where, I mean, I think technically there's still a chance that the Packers could make it.
Well, you were telling me the other day that it was like a 4% chance or something like that.
It was, and I think it's gone up since. I haven't checked.
Oh, it's gone up. Okay.
But obviously the Vikings would still have to lose too, which is possible. But on top of that, you would need Washington, you would need Carolina, and you would need Philadelphia to all lose a game.
I mean, all three of those teams kind of look crappy. So I would not be surprised if that happened.
Right.
The last spot in the NFC does not look. It's competitive.
It's open.
Yeah, it's very open. But
grabs.
I mean, there's some teams in there that are kind of they're very mediocre.
I think the Vikings are probably the best of that lot.
Yeah.
Between those five, but I think Seattle's definitely got the first wild card.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the Vikings are just such a letdown of a team. Kirk Cousins is making $28 million a year for this season, next season, and the season after that, and he's not doing anything.
But partly, I think I don't know. You can chime in on this too if you want. I haven't watched too much of the Vikings, obviously, but I would say that I think a lot of the heat that he's getting, some of it is fair, but I think some of it is obviously, I would say it's related to specifically the OC and play calling. I mean, I've heard a lot of Viking fans
they fired their offensive coordinator.
Right, and I was going to say, people were saying there weren't enough designed rollouts, which is kind of where he's been more mobile in the past. And I think he's more of a successful quarterback than what he's shown this year. But I also think he's just getting crazy pressure. And, I mean, like the Packers, I believe they're having a lot of offensive line issues this year.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're making that kind of money, you got to perform. End of the day, I don't care how much pressure is on you.
Tell that to Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford's a joke, too.
How many games has he won in the last 5 years? And he was, the highest paid quarterback for a while?
He is the highest paid quarterback, I think.
Is he still?
I think so.
I thought Rodgers beat him out with his new contract.
Oh, no, you're right. Rodgers did beat him out with his new contract. But, yeah, I mean, if you're getting paid the money, you gotta live up to the hype. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I mean, you gotta live up to the hype.
At the same time, though, that's the NFC picture. I think it's still very up for grabs with that 6th spot. The AFC, I mean, man, last night,
Miami Miracle, baby, just throwing that out there.
That's gonna change things up, though. I think with the Chargers beating the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I think the Chiefs look much more beatable than they did a few weeks ago.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not saying it's just a Kareem Hunt factor because obviously their defense is just. It's like an open door. Anyone can get by.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I mean, I think if you're a Chiefs fan and you're sitting on a bye week in that round 1, you are still not comfortable until that game is over in round 2, even if you have home field, until the very end. Because just like last night, go for 2. I mean, Rivers, they had the momentum in the 4th.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, 2 unanswered possessions, right?
Yeah.
And they come away with the win.
The Chargers looked like crap at the beginning of that game, too. Phillip Rivers threw a pick on the first play of the game.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. I was watching it at a restaurant me, my mom, and my brother were at. The other place, if you know where that is.
Oh, yeah. The OP.
It's like the home of the Kansas City Chiefs, so super loud as obnoxious.
Gosh.
But, yeah, I mean, that playoff spot could be wild, but the Miami Miracle, that's all I'm going to say about the 6. We're on the trail.
We'll see what happens. I think Miami's looking a lot better than they were earlier in the season.
For sure.
Obviously, we played each other. We came away with the win. That was a Lambeau factor, I'd probably say, because, I mean...
And we had Brock Osweiler in, too, which is just
kind of an off factor.
Why? But, I think we would definitely have more wins if it was Tannehill in all season.
So you think he's a franchise guy going forward, though?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, if he can stay healthy, I think he can be a franchise guy, but it's that staying healthy that really makes me question Because I haven't seen, because in 2016 when we went 10-6, Tannehill was hurt. He got hurt in like week 14 or 15, and then I think it was Matt Moore starting in the playoffs. All of 17 is out with an ACL. We have to have stupid Jay Cutler. And then 18 he's dealing with this shoulder thing. I think it's a right shoulder. Okay. So I really don't know. I haven't had the consistency of a full season to kind of judge, like especially under Adam Gase is where he's been really shining, because Adam Gase is just a god among men when it comes to coaching quarterbacks. So I just don't think he's had that time to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to stick on this too much longer, but I'm curious how you think you guys are going to fare. I mean, not to date the podcast. Obviously, we are still in the midst of the season.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I'm curious how you think you guys will do up in Minnesota this Sunday.
I'm optimistic. I really think that, especially with the Vikings' woes on offense.
I mean, they're still a good team, obviously.
I mean, yeah, they're still a good team. They have Diggs, they have Thielen, they have Cook.
Part of it's dependent on how much time Kirk can get.
Yeah.
But their defense obviously wasn't as good as they've been last year.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with Jacksonville. I mean, a few of those teams have taken such drastic steps. I mean, if you look at like Oakland a few years ago, people thought they were going to be legitimate Super Bowl contenders.
Oh yeah, and now they're garbage town.
Correct. It's crazy. I mean, I never really thought that the NFL moved that quickly with teams, but I mean, hey. I never thought the Browns would win a game.
I'm on the Browns hype train this season. Oh man,
everyone likes to root for the underdog.
I love the Cleveland Browns.
Plus Baker's just a baller.
Baker is a baller. He's got the attitude. He's got everything that I want in a quarterback.
I mean, it depends on what type of attitude you mean when it comes to like a quarterback. Because I mean, like if we're talking a Johnny Manziel type attitude,
no.
But that's the difference. I think a guy carries it with swagger versus cockiness.
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield's got like a swagger to him. Like,
I could understand that.
Yeah, he's got more of like a swagger rather than Johnny Manziel, who's just a loser. Like.
No. Okay, so I have to ask you. We've talked about the NFL for quite a bit.
Yeah.
We could kind of transition this into the whole gaming sector, but I think obviously what has to be the greatest sports franchise of all time as far as video games go has to be NCAA football.
Oh yeah.
I mean, without a doubt, right?
I mean, I guess.
I think MVP baseball was up there for quite a lot of people.
Yeah,
and then obviously FIFA has been a huge international hit, but
for me personally, I have to say NFL Street. I love NFL Street.
It's funny you say the Street series though, because I think about NBA Street. Did you ever play?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, man. I just remember way back in the day, there was like Yeti and all those guys in that game and like cheat codes. You remember the games, like cheat codes on the loading screen? Like NFL Blitz is probably where it started. And gosh, you get like busted rims and things like that. Clydesdale Cavs and baseball games. Those are bizarre.
Oh yeah. Just absolutely insane. I also think, on the note of NFL Street and transitioning, have you seen you've seen the Fortnite models for like the NFL, the skins that they've released? Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen people running around with the jerseys.
I think they kind of look like the NFL Street players a little bit.
Do they seriously?
I think they kind of do.
I've never played NFL Street, so
like they look like. Oh, we'll have to play sometime. It's a hoot and a half.
I mean. I'm going to bring this up to embarrass myself to all of your listeners out there.
Go ahead.
But I think the worst sports game that you could buy was Backyard Football. And I freaking bought it for GameCube for like $60.
Okay.
And like brand new. No idea why.
You buy it for the PC, man. The PC.
And then like 5 days later, I'm like, I'm going to go trade it in. And they're like, we'll give you $5. So to GameStop out there, you guys are thieves.
That's actually a very common opinion.
I didn't sell it because at that point, I'm like, man, I'll just eat the $5. Like, I don't need that bad.
No, that's actually what you just said. Is actually a very common thing that people complain about with GameStop. That's actually like all over the internet.
It's a margins-driven industry, that's for sure. But you see plenty of other retailers, like, I mean, not to localize our podcast either, but I mean, there's plenty of guys around here that sell back for, a retail price too. People that they're buying from.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. Anyways, everyone obviously loved backyard baseball. Did you ever dabble? I mean, everyone knows Pablo was the first pick.
I mean, yeah, I dabbled
He's a
for
true
sure.
MVP.
Pablo's the best. You always pick Pablo first. I don't care if you're playing basketball. I don't care if you're playing football, baseball. Heck, you can play curling, and Pablo
my
Sanchez
gosh.
is the best player on the
Part
court.
of what made that game so appealing, though, was the fact that it was free, right? It like came with cereal boxes, if I remember
I
correctly.
think it was. Yeah, I think you could get it with some cereals. I actually just copied we had a computer that had a DVD drive and a regular CD drive, so we
Yeah.
just copied it off of a friend.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
that's
shout out to my cousin out there. I'm not gonna say his name because he's a lawbreaker, but his family used to rent games from their local library, and they would burn them onto their computer. So there's a little
Nice.
tip for the police if anyone wants to report him. I'm sure you could get like a $5 reward. Maybe go buy a Happy Meal, which I don't even think $5 gets you a Happy Meal anymore. It's crazy.
Oh, God,
like
no.
I don't ever go to the fast food restaurants, and then the other day, Ashley and I were like obviously wanting to go get something, and it was like, what on earth? It's like $8 for a meal now.
Yeah, it's pretty
Wow.
insane. But anyways, Jake and I could probably sit here and talk about random garbage.
Quite the
forever.
divergent. But anyways, we were talking about like backyard baseball being free, and that makes me think of the game that we were going to talk about in our discussion here
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
which I'll let you introduce if you desire.
Yeah, we're talking about Fortnite today. Yay, hooray.
All right. I mean,
Yeah, you can go ahead and kick us off.
yeah, I was gonna say. So part of what makes I think Fortnite such a game changer for many people out there was the fact that it was so accessible.
Oh, yeah.
And, obviously, a price
For
point
sure.
you can't beat free. And I know eventually later on, PUBG is also a very similar game.
Yeah.
And I believe it's free now as well. on
Yeah, it didn't
Xbox.
start free, though, I don't think.
Right, I think you had to purchase it. But the weird thing about PUBG, I've never played it personally,
Neither
so
have
I
I.
can't attest to it, but I have heard that it crashes a ton.
That's what I've heard as
So
well.
I'm guessing that likely drove the price obviously down to the free range, which, I mean, this is going to be the interesting thing. I think to kind of kick it off, I'm kind of curious as to what you think in regards towards Fortnite's price range. I mean, if anyone can access it for free, how do you think they are able to survive as a developer?
Yeah, I mean, I think microtransactions, just like through like the skins that
Like
they offer
V-Bucks.
and the season pass, because there's like you get into this game and then they just like start just hammering you with the microtransactions. Like if you want like a different skin,
Right.
that's how you survive.
personalize your
yeah,
character.
to personalize your character. Or like you can get the different pickaxe or whatever.
What I do like though is that you still get the full functionality of the game.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't have to pay for anything
Yep.
in addition to that.
No,
it's just purely optional items.
And like on the accessibility point, I mean, there is there is not a console on the planet that does not have Fortnite on it. I mean, like of the main three and the PC, they all have Fortnite now.
Yeah, is it?
The Switch has Fortnite.
Yep.
The PS4 has Fortnite. The Xbox One has Fortnite.
and PC.
And the PC has
As
Fortnite.
well as mobile. If you're
It's on,
one
yeah,
that's-
it's on mobile. Like,
Which is
what
crazy.
the heck? That's insane.
So I
didn't
think
even
it's
bring
really
that
it's
point up.
transcended lines. I think as far as gaming goes for
sure.
cross-platform play.
For sure.
Which I don't know if there are any other games out there that have that same availability, but I think that's been something that was
not that I can
crazy.
really think
And I know initially Sony was reluctant to allow cross-platform play, specifically with Xbox, which I think they've done in the past with a
Yeah.
lot of their games.
I
But
think they have too.
they've softened their position, as I recall, and I believe they are now open to playing with cross-platform.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I was playing Fortnite last night because I haven't played him forever. I'm going to be honest, and it's so different from when I was playing at
It's-
first. And I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah.
And I remembered how bad I was too.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's not like my favorite game in the world.
But it's still fun to play.
It is fun.
You can be like
I will-
bad
I
and
will
you can
fully-
die right
I will
away.
fully admit it's pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
But like I mean, first-person shooters aren't particularly my cup of tea. I mean, I like third-person shooters. I love. I
can understand
Like
that.
if they have like a really good story, or like that's the things that I really like in a game. But like just that first-person shooter, like you're like in middle school and all your buddies are like, "Hey, let's go play Call of Duty, because that's what we did back in the good old days.
Right.
Not this Fortnite flossing,
Well,
whatever.
To kind of like tie it back to earlier in the conversation, we were discussing like how the developers are surviving off of a free price point, as well as accessibility. And just the other day, I was walking through Target, and you see like all of these, stands for Christmas merchandise. There was literally like a whole section of just Fortnite game figures and things like that. That just blows my mind. Like, it's just absolutely insane how common it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's worked its way into becoming a mainstream thing within, society and culture right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's not just, elementary range, obviously, because we're both in our mid-20s.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're familiar and we dabble. So I think it's kind of crazy in that sense, too, that it's, transcended generations.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I just think that it kind of reminds me of the Five Nights at Freddy's trend. Like with that game series, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that, just in the fact that it's so like, it's almost like pop culture now.
Sure.
Like, it's hit that point where like you can say Fortnite and nobody's thinking like some old English phrase. They're thinking they're thinking of like the video game. Like, you go around and it's like a Hunger Games type deal.
It's just insane too, because like I go to a lot of sporting events as well, and like we were just at a hockey game the other day, and dude, there were like so many kids, and I kid you not, every single like timeout, all of the kids are standing up like flossing and dancing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's just absolutely
they're obsessed with
mind-boggling.
it. And like I used to work in a school, as you guys know, and just like all the kids would be like, Mr. Ewing, can you dab? And I'm all like, what is a dab? How do you dab? What is this dab
man.
you speak of? And then I'd like do it as they're like not looking. I just did it also, by the way.
That's so hilarious.
And then they'd be like, whoa, he knows what a dab is. And they like thought it was the coolest thing ever. Or like, I can't even count the number of times a day. Hey, Mr. Ewing, can you floss? I'm all like, what is a floss? How do I floss?
Okay,
and then I
but
had to learn what flossing was.
Yeah, but like dabbing, is that specifically from Fortnite? I thought that like originated like
elsewhere. I know it's in Fortnite now.
Yeah.
But like just the
I was
whole,
gonna say, I
like,
thought it was
dancing
outside of
thing.
it. I don't even know where it came from, honestly.
I also I was talking to somebody, and somebody else that works in a school, and they were talking about how like Fortnite, like there are like some of the boys that like are all like, I hate dancing, and like it's actually like encouraged them like to dance and like to
Interesting.
have like a kind of more development in the arts, which I think is really cool. Being the show choir nerd, singing nerd I am.
Hey,
I know.
Choir for years.
Yep,
So.
you're in the same boat as me.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that aspect of the game.
Like there's like it's such a mainstream thing that it's just like it's almost like it's like transcending. Excuse me, what it's supposed to be. Well, this is why you don't drink and do podcasts.
We can take a step back too while you're belching.
No, I'm good.
We can talk about like how you said every time you hop into the game though, it feels like it's changed so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I have to admit that is one of the points where I'm unsure of the success of the game as far as like keeping someone hooked, like yourself or myself. Just because if you're not able to sit down and play it every season somewhat regularly, you're going to kind of feel out of the loop when you hop in. And I remember when I first jumped into the game, I did feel a little bit overwhelmed at that point.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's a very shallow learning curve, but it's just like so many options within the game that kind of makes a difference.
I mean, like even when I was jumping in again last night, I'm all like, what do I do again? Like, and I suck at building. I never build.
Oh my gosh.
I never build.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at it. I just don't even touch it.
Well, I've heard that like PC is a little bit better for building, obviously. And then I've heard there's also like a few, like you can do Combat Pro or like Builder Pro.
Yep.
Which like changes up your button layout.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what helps some people on console.
Yeah.
But I have not messed with that at all.
Yeah, neither have I.
I am in the boat of sucking at building as well.
Yeah. Also, they added vehicles and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know
that.
when they did that.
Man.
I'm not entirely sure if somebody knows when they did that. Go ahead and leave a comment below. But yeah, I was like, because I first ran across like a four-wheeler.
Yeah,
with like a rocket on the back.
Yep.
And I was hopping on that thing and I was having the time of my life. Like I tried to run somebody over.
They had, I think they definitely had vehicles in season 5 because I want to say they had introduced I want to say they're called like ATKs or something. They're like dune buggies almost, doing the jumps and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was about the same time that they introduced a shopping cart. That might have been like season 5.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I first got introduced to the game around season 3.
I think I
skipped season 4.
Maybe season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
I was
about the same time.
season 3,
And
maybe
then
season 2.
I missed season 4, and then season 5 I played a little. Season 6 I might have played like once, and then I obviously just hopped back on like with the floating loot island. Like I don't know if you were around for that season.
No,
now.
I wasn't.
Okay, so like Loot Lake had the house in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It turned into like a floating island.
Oh.
And then it like moved all the way around the map.
Oh.
So that was an interesting season.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of an intriguing one, and then obviously, as the new season is broken out.
Oh, yeah.
With winter upon us here in the
Yeah.
United States and in the northern hemisphere. They've added snow across the map.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
been an interesting aspect along with the plains.
Yeah, I actually have a picture of the map in the thumbnail, the current season 7 map.
Yeah.
At the time of this recording, and I was like, wait, there wasn't like snow. Also,
Yeah.
the desert thing was weird to me. I hadn't seen that before.
That's been around. I think they brought that in when they had I want to say they're called ATKs, but I might totally be off.
Yeah, because I kind of like, I played for a little bit, and then I kind of stopped. And then I was all like, oh, I should talk about Fortnite with Jake. And then I was all like, oh, crap, I might want to play Fortnite. So I actually know what on God's green earth I'm talking about, rather than just sitting here going, duh.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But
I mean, so I think in order to kind of like just bring this conversation along, I'm curious as to what your initial like interpretation of the game was. Like, what
Yeah.
did you initially think when you started it up? Because I know for me, it felt a lot different from anything else I've played.
yeah, I mean, there are some things about Fortnite that I really like, and I think are very commendable. But there are other things that, like, at the same time, I'm like, I don't really like this. Like, I don't like building. I'm going to be honest. I don't like it.
So are you like one of those folks who are either upset with others who can obviously, let's be honest, folks, there are always going to be people who can just outbuild us like crazy, and they're always going to kill you every single time.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably me. Part of the reason I probably think that way is because I'm just bad at it. But the other part is I just think it's cheap. Like that somebody can like build a wall and then you can't get them anymore. Like it's like, come on, I want to be able to get you. Like there's already, you can't like just pop up a wall in the middle of combat like in real life.
At the same time, though, it is not supposed to be like a real life.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
true.
think to a degree, it's supposed to add to like another layer of skill and strategy.
Yeah, I mean, you
So-
are hopping out of a bus,
Yeah.
a flying bus.
Yeah, let's be
So,
honest.
I mean,
folks.
realism is kind of out the window. But also, I mean, I guess my initial thoughts were like, I really like this like Hunger Games kind of style we've got going on
Same,
here.
yeah.
Like, I was really intrigued by that, and that's kind of like one of the reasons I picked it up because like, as I've said earlier in this podcast, I'm not a particular like first-person shooter like multiplayer guy. I'm not just gonna sit there for like 4 or 5 hours and play a first-person shooter. Like that's just not what I do anymore.
So, like, what do you categorize as like a first-person shooter versus a third-person shooter?
So the difference between a first-person shooter and a third-person shooter, a third-person shooter is when you can see the person, like you can see their
Yeah,
back.
but you can see the back. In
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Fortnite's a third-person shooter. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I was
Duh,
gonna
I'm an
say
idiot.
this whole time I was kind of
No,
confused.
yeah, Fortnite's a third-person shooter. My bad. And like
I was
Call
gonna
of
say
Duty.
first-person shooters are probably
Yeah.
a little more common as far as like Halo.
Oh yeah, Halo, Call of Duty.
Yeah. I mean, there is a
Gears of
third-person
War.
mode in
Or
Call
no,
of Duty.
Gears of War is third.
But like Battlefield is also
Battlefield's
first-person.
first. Yeah, but like just kind of that first-person shooter type genre.
Whereas third-person would be more like GTA, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just like the third person.
Which, I mean, I have totally
my bad.
experienced both
I just
of
played
those.
the game last night, and I can't even think of what person it's in.
I've totally experienced, plenty of first-person and third-person shooters. I don't think there's been any issue as far as transitioning along
Oh,
that route of
no.
like perspective.
Oh,
of
for
aiming.
sure. I don't think there's
and
an
hand-eye
issue
coordination.
either. And I don't
But-
even think that it's not even a difference between like if Call of Duty were a third-person shooter, it still wouldn't be my cup of tea.
Yeah.
If Fortnite were a first-person shooter, it still wouldn't be my cup of tea
Right.
either. But it's and like. For example, like the Uncharted series is a third-person shooter. Like literally, you sit there and shoot people. But it's like I'm more there for the story than I am for the shooting. Like the shooting's there, and I'll do it, and like I enjoy it. Or like The Last of Us for the PS4 or for the PS3 and the PS4. Like that's a third-person shooter as well, and I'm there for the story. So I guess there's just has to be something more than just like shoot these guys because you have to.
Well, that's the difference about this game, though. Like, there's no real story mode. I mean, there is, right? There's, the zombie mode. I don't remember the name right now. It escapes me because
there's a zombie mode.
Yeah, let's be honest, folks. I've never played it.
I've never played it either. I didn't even know there was a zombie mode.
Yeah, I've only played Battle Royale.
Oh yeah, Battle Royale. I mean, for what Fortnite is, I think it's good. Like I could see why people like Fortnite.
There's an appeal to it.
Oh yeah, there's definitely an appeal to it. And like I picked it up last night and I'm like, this is actually a lot better than I remember it being. Like
it's got that like adrenaline feeling which you have to have in a game for it to be successful. There has to be some level of addiction, which kind of sounds weird, but like with Fortnite, the thing I love about it, like just on a general level, how quick the lobby, the load time, and the game start is. It's so much quicker than like those 45 or minute and a half lobbies that you see in like Halo or Call of Duty.
Anything on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Just saying, Nintendo, fix your servers. You suck.
It's just crazy though, because like in Fortnite, you hop in, you push ready, you're in a game within 10 seconds, and the next thing you know, you're dropping out of the bus within another 5.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so much more quick. Like, it doesn't matter if you die right away, you're in another game within the next 25 seconds. So having that instant response is part of what drives, like, how addicting it is. It's the same thing as, like, Netflix, right?
Oh, yeah.
Same concept of, like, the autoplay. Like, it's going to say autoplay, but for whatever reason, you always set the remote or you always set the phone down, and then it's scramble. You've got to catch it, otherwise you're hooked for another, 20, 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like that, and we definitely live in a society where, like, it's instant gratification. Yep. Gotta have it now. So, like, yeah, the loading times are definitely a plus in this game.
I'll talk about like some of the things that I first felt like when I played the game too.
Go ahead.
Which were like, I'll be honest, the graphics felt a little weird. It seemed a little too, I'm not going to say like arcadey.
Cartoonish?
Yeah, cartoonish.
I actually like that style. Really? It's a style I'm very used to.
That's something I'm not used to at all.
Being the Nintendo fanboy I am,
right?
That's actually like the colors and that is like very
Mario
very
Kart,
in my realm.
Mario Party, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong. Like I played all of those and loved them. But that was like back in my N64 days.
Yeah.
Since then, maybe Mario Kart on the Wii, but like I haven't really dabbled in cartoonish, so that was a little difficult for me to get used to for sure.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I just like, I mean, I've grown up with this Nintendo aspect, so, like, I expect my games to be, like, brightly colored and, like, super flashy. So, like, when you go to something like The Last of Us, or, like, you go to something like Red Dead, or something like that, it's more of, like, a realistic color palette, rather than this, like, bright colors of, like, a Mario game, or a Zelda game, or, like, any other type of game out there. And it's, like, you really have to, like, get used to that. Like, it's definitely a transition. Like, if I'm to move from, like, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, great game, by the way, just came out a week ago. If you don't have it, you should pick it up. If I were to move from that to, like, I don't know, like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, where it's, like, dark gray, like, it's a lot of dark colors. Like,
I could understand that.
It's very weird transition. So it's a weird transition going both ways. It's just, especially for, like, traditionally for a shooter, you're expecting more of those like realistic colors.
Yeah, I think third person, it's usually a little less of the realism for sure. But I mean, like Red Dead definitely has more of that lifelike contrast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would say eventually I obviously got used to it as far as the graphics go, the cartoonish appeal. But I think part of also what was interesting about the game was just like the way you approach your game start of everyone coming from the same position and you choose where to land. Yeah. Because that is something entirely new to me that I don't think I've seen in any other shooter game like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that actually. Because usually when you like are playing,
you have spawn points.
Yeah, you have a spawn point.
Yeah.
And like people like camp out at those all the time. But like also like just finding, well, you got to know where things are kind of.
Yeah,
like you have to learn the map. You gotta
pick up everything, which I think that was part of the initial Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I'm sure it was part of the initial Call of Duty series, where you had to like actually pick up in classic mode like all of your weapons if
Yeah.
you wanted something.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I mean, nowadays it's like you expect a loadout that you can customize before you even go into the game.
Oh, yeah.
So that was an interesting aspect for me for sure to get used to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, because when you do, like, one of those Call of Duty, like, when you're in a Call of Duty lobby, you can, like, pick your weapon and, like, okay, this is the weapon I want to use until, like, you need to go get a new one. Like, obviously, you kill somebody, you can pick up their weapon. But when you're dropping in Fortnite, you, like, you got to find something, otherwise you're stuck with a pickaxe.
And you're screwed.
And you're screwed.
Yeah. That was another thing, though, that kind of transitions into the next point. The fact that it was 100 players, which, I mean, there are a few games that have, you know, pushed on that point. There was one for, like, PlayStation that was, like, 200 something.
Oh, shoot, Mag.
Yeah.
Mag! Oh, good old Mag.
I think I played that a couple times, and I don't think it was functional. It was.
Oh, my gosh. The Mag beta was... Oh, I got to go on a Mag. I got to go on a Mag
He's
hype.
going on a Mag rant, guys.
I'm going on a Mag
rant
rant
real
real
down
quick.
For a little
so, Mag, the beta... I was so pumped for this game. I was all like, this game is going to be great. Like, I was really excited. And then it sucked. It was bad.
Such a flop.
It was such a flop. I remember you could walk into GameStop and literally it would just be you would go to the PS3 section and you could see a
ton of
row of
selections.
Mag.
Yep.
That was my quick Mag rant. Go ahead.
Oh, but like, so the fact that there were like over 100 players though in Fortnite was kind of new towards like Xbox at least, and I know there are other games out there with plenty. Like I'm pretty sure Battlefield pushed up to like 64 players.
Yeah.
But that was interesting, especially in the fact that you could go free for all. So it's 1v1 in the entire solo mode.
Oh, yeah.
Which was just kind of a new concept entirely to be dependent upon yourself.
For sure. Because I think even in Mag, I have not played Mag in years. I think in Mag
it was still like team concept,
you had
right?
to
Like
do
big
teams.
team battle from Halo,
I think
for
it was
example.
like it was like maybe a red team and a blue team.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Of course, I was playing that game when I was like a freshman in high school.
It's a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. It was like, that's almost like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. But, yeah, let's go ahead and I think this is a good closing point. So, kind of question is going to be, what are your opinions on Fortnite? If you guys want to leave your comments below.
I'd be curious, too, to know, like, what the initial interaction, like, perspective that people had of the game and, like, what it is now. Because, like, I feel like we haven't even touched on, like, pros and cons of it or like any of those other general points. I'm sure this is something where we could bring in a part 2 if we ever wanted to. And, like, it's a game that you and I aren't even exactly like that entirely familiar with. We could definitely go. Because it's been so impactful.
Yeah, so also answer Jake's question too. Just what are your initial reactions? Just talk about Fortnite in the comments below. Jake and I will be down there to answer your guys' questions.
If there was like one thing that you could change about the game, like for better or worse, I think like it would be interesting to know what folks would pick. I think personally, I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
I wish they would introduce a new game mode with no building. Like just purely shooting.
I like that idea. I'm going with that too.
Obviously, you should be able to like put down
that.
floors like to save yourself from falling down from like heights. But like building up walls and ramps, I feel like that would be a very interesting game mode, and it would be such a mass appeal to like a lot of people who are horrible at building.
For sure, yeah.
I don't know if you have one off the top.
Oh no, I that probably would have been mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I it's kind of a cop out, but I probably would have picked that.
I was gonna say, I know that's been an issue for a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you want to tell my audience a random fact?
Oh, well, I was going to bring up a random fact. So I know that you typically like to bring in a game fact, but we've heard Justin talk about this for a long time. He always talks about this specific Walmart that is located near his house, and he knows someone who works there, and you can go ahead and tell them the fact that you know.
Okay, so this Walmart, there's a standard Walmart size, and then there's the Walmart by my house. I was told when the Walmart first opened back in 2012, so 6 years ago, that Walmart is 10,000 square feet smaller than an actual, like, bigger Walmart.
Right. A bigger Walmart or, like, an average Walmart?
A bigger Walmart. Like, a Walmart in the area.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it's interesting to think about that because I actually did some Googling, folks. I work in the commercial real estate phase. And I will have to check your facts, mister.
Oh, really?
So apparently the average Walmart size is about 105,000 square feet. And from the sources that I was able to cite in on, it appears that this Walmart over here is about 125,000 to 130,000 GLA, which stands for gross leasable area. Thus, I mean, to me, that sounds like it's 20 to 25,000 square feet larger than an average Walmart.
Interesting. Well, I was lied to then, because
Or
that's what I was
you've
told.
been lying to all of us.
No, that is what I was told.
Well, the people
Why
know
would I
the
lie
truth.
about the size of a Walmart? That is such a
You
stupid
have an
thing to lie
agenda
about.
proof. You are pro Walmart. You think they take up less carbon footprint. Admit it.
I do love Walmart, but I wouldn't go that far in defending them.
Oh, man.
All right.
That'll be another debate for another day.
Yes, look forward to the Game Rants episode where I talk about Walmart for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we'll call it the Walmart rant.
The Walmart rant.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on, man. Hopefully
Yeah.
we can come on another day. if
No,
the
no
audience
problem.
appreciates
Yeah, thanks for talking to me about Fortnite. It was
Who
fun.
knows? Maybe this will
I had
drive
a
up
good
your
time.
numbers.
Anyways, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below. That lets you know whenever I'm going to post another game rant or let's play or whatever random thing I decide to do that day. I've got some cool content coming out as soon as Jake gets some music done for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which he knows about.
We'll do that.
Yes. Also, if you guys can give this video a like, that just lets me know that you guys are liking the content that I'm producing. And go ahead and smash that the little bell button. Yeah, I already said that too. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys on the next one, and I hope you have a good one.
Leave a comment.